Almost every single XRP holder out there has heard about Ripple replacing Swift at one point in time, or at least maybe even working with Swift. This has been a very common idea for years now. And if we go back to March of this year, I don't know if you guys remember these posts, but Watcher Guru did put out a post on X. It wasn't only on X, it was also on Facebook. And it was within their Telegram group as well. If you can't see this and read it, don't worry. I will zoom in here in a bit. But what the idea of this was Justin Swift nearing agreement with Ripple to use XRP for cross-border payments, with billions of XRP secured in escrow as liquidity reserves. And if you guys want to see it, there you guys have it. Now, what's interesting about this is, like I said, it wasn't just on X. It was also on Facebook, right? Justin Swift nearing agreement with Ripple to use XRP for cross-border payments with billions of XRP secured in escrow as liquidity reserves. And then, of course, yes, we do have it also on Telegram as well. Now, we did get an update from Watcher Guru themselves, which did say, warning, our X account has been hacked. In the previous post, now deleted, was posted by a hacker. We have two-step verification enabled and have taken extreme measures to avoid hacks. We are looking into this and will provide an update when we have more details. We are working to get in touch with X support. And we also have this, that did your Facebook get hacked too? No, this is them blaming their bot, basically saying, oh no, our Facebook bot automatically reposted this. But definitely very interesting. And yeah, a lot of people were saying it's a lie, that it was like the fastest recovery in history, this, that, whatever. And I definitely speculated on this as well. Now, this was at 10:51 p.m. on March 20th, the same day that we got this from Swift themselves, March 20th, 2025. How we're enabling a seamless payments experience for corporates around the globe. Okay, interesting. When we actually look into this, okay, we have discover our new services developed in collaboration with 25 leading banks and 26 corporates across various sectors and regions to enhance the payment experience in corporate banking. All right. Now, on top of that, we're talking about payments. We're talking about cross-border payments. We're talking about redesigning them, redeveloping them with some of the biggest banks. And if we scroll down, we have standardizing payments with ISO 20022. Interesting. By the way, this is supported by a network of 8 technology partners. We don't know who any of them are, but hey, there's 8 of them. But if we go down here, we also have, with ISO 20022, the goal is to provide corporates and banks with a single standard that improves cross-border payments. This will enable them to fully benefit from the rich data, increased speed, and interoperability it offers, enhancing reconciliation. Now, we already know that ISO 20022 does also open up the door for new technologies to be implemented, specifically DLT and blockchain. This is a very, very interesting update from Swift. 11,000 banks, one of them, it's basically the biggest financial networks in the world. And this gets posted on the same day that, Watcher Guru's account gets hacked, talking about how Swift is nearing a deal with Ripple. Now, does this confirm that Swift is working with Ripple or anything like that? No, absolutely not. But let's actually talk about what Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple's CEO, said recently. Now, this is not extremely new, but I want to go over a few additional things behind this to really kind of support how all of this could work. But before I get into that, I do want to play this video clip. This is actually from a former Ripple employee, and no, I'm not talking about Anderson. I'm actually talking about Miguel Vias here. He's telling us the difference between what Ripple, the company, is trying to do in accordance with cross-border payments and how Ripple is using XRP. There seems to be some confusion in this area. Ripple, the company, is trying to replace Swift, while XRP facilitates instant settlement as a bridge asset by Ripple. The XRP-L is not competing with Swift, nor is XRP. In other words, other payment systems could in theory use XRP for instant settlement as well. It doesn't have to be Ripple. It's open source software. Theoretically, Swift could use XRP as a bridge asset as an example if they really wanted to. And check this out.
Okay, I don't know if you guys noticed, like I use XRP and Ripple very differently, right? I never call XRP Ripple because it gets really confusing. The company, the asset, it gets all over the place. So the company, that enterprise software that it's building is a replacement for Swift today, right? And Swift is the way that banks send money across the world today. It's the protocol for that. So we are definitely trying to replace that protocol. Right? That's not what XRP is trying to do. XRP is trying to be a complement to fiat, sending money across borders, if you will, fiat to fiat. So it's trying to be a bridge.
Like facilitate settlements.
It'll facilitate
using XRP.
Okay.
So that gives us a little bit of a breakdown on how both are different, which, by the way, should make you very bullish, because regardless of what Ripple does, this still means that Swift could easily tap into XRP and the XRPL at any point in time. With finance and fiat currencies becoming more and more digital, that actually reinforces that idea of Swift tapping into XRP and the XRPL to be that bridge currency between stablecoins, CBDCs, tokenized things of value, you name it. Now, here is the big update, right? This is the thing that everyone is talking about over the last couple days. And this is actually from Good Morning Crypto. We have XRP capturing 14% volume would be $700 billion every single day on the ledger. What is your 2030 peak price projection for XRP? Because again, we have XRP could capture 14% of Swift's global volume, says Ripple CEO. Now, this is the video, right? Got posted. Don't know who the original poster is, but we have Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO. Within the next 5 years, XRP will take 14% of Swift. That's 2.8% per year just from utility. We're not even counting what happens when it rides with Bitcoin. XRP isn't sleeping, it's loading. Now, I'm not going to play this video clip simply because it does have music, just to get, prove this to you guys. Here, check it out.
5 years, yeah.
So there's the music. I went ahead and I actually changed this video just by using AI to get rid of the music. This is because YouTube has been muting every single video clip, so I do apologize for that, but I went ahead and edited it for you guys. Check it out.
5 years, yeah. So, I mean, it's for a dumb reason.
Swift today, there's two ways to think about Swift. There's the messaging and there's liquidity. Liquidity is owned by the bank. I think less about the messaging and more about liquidity. Because if you're driving all the liquidity, that's good for XRP. Right. Anyway, so I'll say 5 years, 14%.
So 14%. And the big thing that he's mentioning here is focusing on liquidity, right? They're focused on liquidity, not messaging, because again, Swift has already fixed messaging. And not only that, Brad also knows that with ISO 20022, all of a sudden the data is more rich behind these messages, these financial messages. So the messaging side is already fixed because of this new standard. And when we go over here, we have a little bit of a breakdown on what could happen if this is the case. Now, again, 14%, pretty random number, right? I mean, what's up with the 14%? Instead of like a 10%, 15%, usually people go, completely, with just like a random number, and it's typically even, or it's like a flat number, not, 14 or like, 12.2. You get the deal, right? So 14%, very random number. XRP could process $4.2 trillion per year by handling 14% of Swift's volume. The recent comment from Ripple leadership on XRP's position in global finance processing continues to spark speculation about its implications for XRP. According to a new breakdown powered by xAI's Grok, if XRP captures even a fraction of Swift's transaction volume, the figures quickly rise into the trillions. During a brief chat at the XRP Ledger Apex event, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse offered a forward-looking estimate regarding the XRP Ledger. He stated that XRP and the XRPL could handle up to 14% of Swift's total transaction volumes within the next 5 years. Garlinghouse stressed the importance of focusing on liquidity rather than messaging when discussing cross-border payments, noting that Swift's primary value today lies in moving money between jurisdictions, not merely sending information. This commentary sparked major excitement in the XRP community and triggered a new wave of speculative analysis. And this is, of course, where you get to the idea of like, what could XRP be worth if we start to see some of these figures? Like, for an example, you know, Swift is estimated to move $150 trillion per year in transaction volume. 14% equals about $21 trillion per year, or roughly $58 billion in daily volume. 2.8% per year on average over the 5-year span equals about $4.2 trillion per year. Given this massive potential, all right, this individual named XRP Millionaire took a swipe at skeptics who had previously dismissed XRP's potential to reach even values of just $8, which I find ridiculous. He joked that perhaps XRP should be priced at $8 with several extra zeros. XRP is currently trading at about $2.24 and has remained below its all-time high for over 7 years. However, the possibility of its native network processing multi-trillion-dollar flows has renewed conviction among community members who believe in higher price forecast. Now, this is where we start to see, you know, some of those figures, right? Where we have one estimate suggests that a $12 price for XRP based on projected liquidity demand and token velocity. This valuation assumes that XRP circulates 30 times yearly, requiring a liquidity pool of approximately 700 billion. Meanwhile, another analysis factoring in rising institutional adoption and speculative demand suggests that XRP could reach between $18 and $24. Now, while these numbers are exciting, some commentators are zooming out to consider the bigger picture. In a follow-up commentary, XRP Millionaire encouraged XRP supporters to ask an important question. If XRP captures 14%, who will handle the remaining 86% of Swift's transaction volume? This perspective highlights the competitive landscape, including other blockchain projects like Chainlink, which, unlike XRP, is already involved in real-world collaborations with Swift. So, again, we don't know if XRP is going to be handling 14% of Swift's volume in the next 5 years, but it is possible. And a lot of people are actually saying that it's not because of the TPS demand. For an example, over here we have no, it cannot, the ledger can't handle this TPS, but this is actually incorrect. And I do love the fact that Smoke Dog did outline this. We have, yes, Ripple can support the TPS required to match Swift's volume. Ripple will dominate the payment industry within a short period. This is all documented, and here we could actually see. Let me open this up in a new tab. So we have Swift can handle up to 1,000 transactions per second. Ripple network is capable of handling up to 1,500 transactions per second. So when we think about this, right, yeah, Swift has up to 1,000 TPS, but Ripple actually has more. And, you know, again, Swift has no problem at all. But also down here, we do have Ripple is truly one of the few adults in the space who are focused on collaboration instead of trying to pull everyone else down. And yeah, that's the big thing, right? Like, everyone thinks that Ripple needs to completely replace Swift. No, they don't have to do that. In fact, they could easily just work with Swift. Swift could integrate the Ripple network, could integrate XRP and the XRPL. This is not, you know, a game of, oh, we have to replace them. We 100% need to replace them. You technically don't, right? You could work with them. And I think that Ripple is open to that if that is the case. But in a world where stablecoins are becoming more and more prevalent, like even, you know, Circle's co-founder and CEO did say latest, stablecoins are the highest utility form of money ever created. We're not yet at the iPhone moment yet, but it's coming. And yeah, listen, when we really think about stablecoins, they just continue to dominate. Even over here, we have 2025, the year of stablecoins. According to the Block Pro research for Coinbase, stablecoin transfer volumes hit historic highs, 719 billion in December 2024 and 717 billion in April of this year. From remittances to payroll, stablecoins are powering real-world finance. The on-chain future is now. And yeah, when we think about what's actually happening, you know, even more recently, RippleX Dev did outline all of the stablecoins on the XRP ledger. When we think about the world that we are marching into, you know, yeah, I get that Swift is starting to prepare for this. I understand that they're getting ready to really kind of be a part of this. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about FX markets going on chain and we're starting to see, you know, payments moving on chain and making sure that these experiences are extremely seamless and efficient and at basically the best that these companies, these individuals, anyone that's using payments or payment technology, if we want to make the experience the best possible, it's tapping into something that is highly liquid, extremely interoperable, could connect two currencies together easily and settle those transactions. Then we are looking at DLT, but specifically we're looking at XRP. And the fact that Ripple is creating, this FX market essentially on chain by having all of these stablecoins on the XRP ledger, we're starting to see that becoming a reality. And, Swift, guess what? Swift doesn't have stablecoins on its network yet. But the fact that they could easily tap into these networks, especially with some of the recent developments, they can now tap in and plug and play with blockchain. It does give us that insight that, yeah, in 5 years, XRP could be settling 14% of the transaction volume going over Swift. It's not a thing that's, out of this world crazy, or, oh, there's no way that that's ever going to happen. It is something that has a high probability of happening, especially if you think about how much has changed in just the last 5 years around crypto. I mean, compared to the next 5 years, everything is accelerating. Everything is moving much faster than ever before. Stablecoins are becoming huge. In fact, they're massive parts of the financial system at this point, making up over 1% plus of the M2 money supply. So when we think about this, it's only going to get bigger. And I do think that these networks that we know of, like Swift, will be utilizing blockchain and DLT. Give it another 5 years, and I think that, crypto is going to be extremely mainstream, and I think that's going to be everywhere. And I do think that some of these great networks, like, of course, the XRP Ledger, and even names like Ripple as well, are going to be 10 times, if not, 100 times bigger, because they just continue to get adopted, continue to expand, and just continue to connect and network with some of the biggest names out there in the world. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.